you're always, I always trying to at least compete with your brother, or at least match him in terms of his accomplishments and achievements. It was so difficult for me to do that. The only thing that I successfully did that I can say I'm better than my brother is my burial plot. I think it's a lot bigger and it's more impressive. And part of it is because I had a lot of kids, and I had two wonderful wives. When I was in, I should tell you that I was in Danville, Virginia with my parents when my brother sent a letter that we opened. It was on a Monday in April of 1826, and the letter invited us to come to Georgia to join him in Franklin, Georgia. Now, I don't know about you, but the travel brochures and so forth that vastly overstate the merits of the place in a sense that the soil is shallow, the topsoil is shallow, it's rocky, and once you cut the harvestable timber, all you're really left with is pasture, and that's what we were left with. Now, my parents were happy because they were sick of tobacco farming, so the idea that they could go to cattle raising was delightful for them. They were happy with it, and we made a pretty decent living with that. The other thing that was great for me is that I met another Georgia peach, like my brother had, Matilda. Matilda doesn't do her justice, though. We called her Maddie because she was she wasn't matronly. She was a sparkly, upbeat person and very encouraging and hopeful. And she loved Franklin. In fact, I'm getting ahead of myself now, but we got married, and it was shortly after that we had our first child, and I just wanted to honor both of us. I never met her parents. I don't know how well she knew her parents. So it was logical for us when we had our first child that we named our daughter after my mother, Sarah. And then we named our second child after my father, John Thomas. And then we named our third, well, that didn't work out because he was stillborn, and he was never given a name. The third child we named after and in honor of my brother William, because I respected him, I loved him, and it just made sense. And the fourth was, I guess I modestly or immodestly named after me, Joseph Ephraim Dent Jr. Now the problem with that is that Maddie had trouble in delivery. In fact, 4 months after Joseph was born, Maddie passed away. And 2 months later, my namesake, Joseph Ephraim, also passed away. Kind of tough talking about it sometimes. He's buried over there. And it was really difficult for me. The two things that kept me going, number one was responsibility for my 3 children. And then also my God. And I was worshiping at the Newnan Methodist Church, and the pastor there was a Reverend Stegall. And Reverend Stegall was the founding pastor of the Newnan Methodist Church. And he had a wonderful daughter named Elizabeth. And Elizabeth, Lizzie, helped me a lot. And 4 years after Maddie passed away, Elizabeth and I were married. Now, if you want to visit Maddie, you can do that because she wanted to be buried in Franklin. She loved it. And my parents, you can still visit them. And I visit Maddie's grave at least once a year. And I put flowers there and think about her, all that, because you know why. But Elizabeth and I really made a go of it. Together we founded the People's Savings Bank in Noonan, and we had 9 children. So if you combine the children that I had responsibility for, from my brother and our children, it was not uncommon for us to set a dinner table with 15 plates set.